Hello everyone. I'm just waiting for people to join, but if you have already joined and if you have any questions, do let me know in the chat. Hi Bhagya, I'm doing good. How are you? Good to know that. So I'm just waiting for other people to join. But like I said, if you have any questions, do let me know in the chat. I'll be more than happy to take them. All good, Rupa. What about you? How's weekend going? Slow start for the weekend. Slow start's always good for a weekend, I would say. Usual, just studying, sleep, and eat, repeat. Yeah, that's life. What about you? My weekends are usually, I mean, it's totally up to you how you want to see it. For me, it's fun, whatever I do. So weekdays are mostly the work, and the weekends are more towards YouTube and other things. Now we also have Twitch, so it also takes some effort. And then I'm also doing some projects, so that is also there. So there are quite a lot of things, but I feel like it's fun to do that. So that is my way of enjoying things. Everyone has their own way of enjoying, right? So some people like to go out, some people like to go for parties, things like that. For me, it's more about doing things. So I really like coming live and talk to you guys. So that is one thing. And then recently I have created this Twitch. So I'm very new to Twitch. I don't really have much idea about how to do things on Twitch and things like that. So I'm still learning that. So I always like learning new stuff. So that's what I do usually on weekends. And then on weekends, if it's a Formula One weekend, then I like to watch that. So it is a Formula One weekend, and it's a Belgian Grand Prix. So on the other screen, because of rain, it got delayed. It was supposed to end at 11:45, but it's raining in Belgium, so it became it delayed a bit. So it's still going on, but yeah, uh, it's there on the other screen. So yeah, that's what I like to do on weekends. First cup of coffee now. How many coffees do you drink every day, Rupa? You dare to include studying as well. Kudos to you. She seems like a sincere student, unlike us, which is always good. Any tips for September incoming international students? I have a dedicated video let me quickly find a link and I will post that link in the chat where I've discussed about things to do before you start your masters. But then I will also tell you a few more things. So first, let me quickly find that video. I can't find my own live stream. There we go. Yeah. So this is the video where you can see what things you can learn before starting your masters. But if I have to just give you an idea, if you are coming from non-technical backgrounds, if you don't have experience in programming, I would say learn either Python or R. That is going to help you quite a lot because that is where I feel a lot of people struggle. And if you want to brush up your mathematical skills, you can brush up that. And if you want to understand exactly what concepts to brush up, I think I have discussed about that in this video, so that should give you an idea. And what else, there is another thing which I may not have talked in that video, is that you should start learning or gaining cloud related skills. So it's not like you have to do it before masters, but I think it would be better to do that while doing masters, because in your masters you won't use it directly, but to find a job after your masters it is going to play a huge role. So I would say when you are doing your masters, try to spend some time to learn cloud related stuff. And I think I know a good resource where you can learn at least AWS. So it's, I think it's AWS Educate. Let me quickly grab a link and I will again post that link in the chat. There are a lot of free courses there, and they seem to be really good. I think there's whole data science on AWS on that platform. So yeah, this is another link which should be helpful. I'm always getting dreams of repaying loan. I hope you understand. I totally get it. I have a education loan myself, so I am repaying it. So I totally get that pain, if you want to call it pain. But yeah, I totally get it. Which domain should data analysts majorly focus on for better opportunity, like health sector, finance, or IT? So health sector and finance, they seem to be really good. So they do hire quite a lot of data analysts or data scientists. So yeah, those two are actually quite popular. Supply chain again, it is also something which is worth looking into. There are a lot of supply chain management, like inventory management or inventory prediction, but that is not for data analysts, that is mainly for data scientists. But if you want to get into data scientist role, then I think yeah, supply chain could also be an interesting domain to look into. And IT will always be there, so companies like Gartner, but ultimately companies like Gartner, they do these kind of data analysis for other companies, and those companies can be from any of the domains that you mentioned. So that is there, but healthcare and finance seems to be quite popular. Sorry. So tell me your journey after your 12th to getting your job in London. You really want to hear it, huh? Um, okay. Let me start from 12th itself because that was more of a. Now, when I look back, it feels funny, but that time it was a bit of a stress. So, yeah, okay. So, I was preparing for IIT JE, and when I was preparing, I was getting good marks in all mock exams, and everything was going really well. But when I was about to take JE exam, there was this rule change where they were including some weightage of board exam as well, and then there will be some weightage to the JE exam. Before that it was not like that. It was like if you get 60-70% in boards, you will be fine. All you have to do is get good marks in your JE. So that was the thing. And considering that, I was preparing everything. So for whole 2 years, 11th and 12th, I prepared for that, and I had become so good at doing calculations in my head that I could just do calculation like for at least 10 steps ahead. I don't have to write, I can just do those things in my head, and that was quite fast. But the problem with that is when you are taking a board exam, and when you do that, you will lose quite a lot of marks because you have skipped a lot of steps. So that was the biggest issue there. But still, I thought this should be fine, and I thought I will take board, and I took board. I got on my first attempt, I got like what, 733% or something like that, which was really bad in CBSE, is because in terms of percentile, it was around 50 percentile or something like that, and it dropped my rank quite a lot. I was in like lakhs, and you know that when you have that bad um, score or rank, you won't be able to get into any of the IITs or even NITs. So and I was so confident that I will get into IITs or NITs that I did not apply to other universities or any other exams. So that was something which I did bad. So now I was only left with another single option is take admission in any of the um universities for BSc or something like that, or BCA. I thought, okay, let's give it another chance and retake or take a gap of 1 year and then reappear in JE mains. Uh, so yeah, I did that, and I prepared. It went well. Now here there was again a twist. I look back for like 10 years of previous JE exams, and there was this topic called radioactivity in physics. Physics was my strongest subject. Close second was maths, and then chemistry was something which I was never too confident into. So I took exam. Oh, sorry. I looked at previous exams uh, papers, and then I realized only one or two questions were coming from radioactivity. So I thought if I will just leave it, it shouldn't be a big problem. And then I left it, and then I went for the exam. Board went well. I got 85 or something like that. It was still not good, but it was better than before. But when I appeared for JE mains, I left the radioactivity. I don't exactly remember how many total questions were there. I think there used to be 30 questions, out of which 10 to 12 questions were from radioactivity. And I was like, come on, dude, who does that? And I was so demotivated that when I was attempting maths section, I won't lie, I just could not keep control of my pulses. And even though I solved the question properly, I marked the wrong answer um, on the sheet, OMR sheet. So yeah, I did really bad in that. I got less marks in JE mains from what I was able to get the previous year. But luckily this time I had applied for other exams like Comet K. I did that and I was able to get into. But then again, there was a twist there as well. So I think it was for 120, and out of 120 I was able to get 95 ish, if I remember correctly. And when I look back the last year's ranking for that marks, I was expecting rank somewhere around 700 to 800 or even 1000 in the worst case scenario. But when the ranks came, I got like 6,000 rank. I was like, what's happening? So that was really bad. But then I had no option, and I didn't want to take another drop. So I just went for one of the universities in Bangalore. So yeah, that was my journey from 12th to my bachelor's. And in bachelor's, I chose computer science. I did, and I was going to computer science from purely non-computer science knowledge. So I had no idea what programming language is, and I was really bad at programming. So when teacher wrote on the board x is equal to x plus 1, which is increasing a value by 1 in programming, I was like, how is that even possible? Because I was coming from mathematics background, and maths x equals to x plus 1 is never possible, right? So yeah, I was really confused, and I tried understanding, but it was a bit hard for me. So what I did, I started looking for tutorials on YouTube, and I started practicing on my own. I started going through the textbook that we had. And whenever I used to go to my professor, they used to suggest some fancy books. I did borrow those books from library, but I never was able to understand things in a proper way. So I went with a local book. I think it was called Padma Reddy, if I remember it correctly. That book was really good, and it was not highly regarded amongst teachers because it was from a local author, but it had concepts explained in such a easy way. It was really easy to understand. So I went through that book, and I started learning things. So during one semester, we had three internal exams and one external exam for one subject. So for programming, it was C programming. I got 14 out of 50 in my first internal because I had no idea what programming is. But then after that, I thought if I have taken programming or if I have taken computer science, I need to be really good at programming. So I started working on my programming skills. I used to go to lead code to solve problems. And in second internal, I got 30 out of 50, which was okay, but and it was just pass. So 30 was the passing score. I got 30, which was fine because it was much better than what I got in the previous internal. And when I appeared for the final internal, it was 48 out of 50. So I had made some good improvements there, and I could confidently say at that time that yes, I know programming. I won't say that I was really good at it, but I could say that yes, I can write code on my own now. So that was the difficult bit, but throughout my bachelor's for 4 years, I learned quite a lot of different programming languages. I always used to do projects for each and every module that we had. And yeah, and when I was in my final year, I came across machine learning and things like that. I started picking up machine learning, but it was a bit hard for me. But then I was just trying to understand that what exactly machine learning is, and that's where I realized that whatever maths I had learned in my 10th, 11th, 12th, my first 2 years of bachelor's, it will all be used in machine learning. And that's where I realized that okay, maths, whatever I learned, it was not waste. And then I got really interested into machine learning. um, and yeah, when I was in my seventh semester, I did this road sign detection and recognition project where we wrote the program in MATLAB because I was not really good with Python at that time. I had not learned Python yet. So, and also MATLAB was new to me. But the thing is, MATLAB has a syntax which is very close to C programming. So I was like, okay, I know C, so I can probably code in MATLAB as well. So we wrote program right from scratch. We did not use any of the libraries or packages. We wrote everything from scratch, and then the project worked quite well. And I think in terms of best projects of the year, I think ours was second or maybe third. I don't exactly remember, but I think it was second. So that was our project, and that's when I got interested into machine learning and things like that. And after that, again, like I was in seventh semester, Infosys, Accenture, and a lot of these companies, they do come in seventh semester for the hiring. I was able to get into Infosys. I would say luckily or unluckily. Luckily because now I had something in my hand, so I didn't have to worry too much about job. But unluckily, it's because in my college, if you have a job, you are not allowed to sit in other interviews, and that's the thing. So I joined Infosys as a systems engineer trainee, and there I was trained on Java. And then after that, and that was in Mysore. So I moved from Bangalore to Mysore, and from Mysore, I got my production unit in Pune. So I went to Pune, and then I joined this big data team, and that's where I was dealing with quite a lot of big data. And I thought, okay, this is really interesting because machine learning is all about data, and then data science is covering machine learning as well. So everything was aligning quite well. So there, my job was to take care of payment streams. I was working for one of the largest bank in US. Uh, but then there was a separate dedicated machine learning team, and then I used to, on the side, I used to work with them. I also created a POC, which was like classifying emails. Before that, the company was doing that quite manually. So whatever email used to come, those people or the customer support people, they used to do that segregation manually. But then I wrote this machine learning algorithm or machine learning program which can do that email classification automatically. And then I passed it on to the production team, and they were like, yeah, it works quite well, and they were happy to productionize it, which was really nice. Then I asked my manager, can you move me to that machine learning team instead of the support team? So he was like, no, we can't do that. I think it was mainly related to business issue or something like that. I don't know what was the issue, but he didn't agree for that. And that's when I thought it's better to probably just leave the company. And then I left the company and I joined a startup. And in that startup, it was a logistics company. There I used to do some data analysis and data science. But then I thought I should just take things a bit more seriously and I should do masters. And no, I mean, before that, I think um, I prepared for GATE. And when I was preparing for GATE, I always wanted to do masters outside, but because of some issues, family issues, I thought it's better to it's better to just do it. Better to just do masters in India, and let's not go out. But always wanted to do that. I was trying to convince my parents, and during that time, I thought I'll just prepare for GATE, and I started preparing for GATE in November end, I think, yeah. And I think we have to take GATE in February, if I remember correctly. So I had like 2 months. So yeah, I took GATE and I got rank of around 5,000 or something, which is really bad again. So you can't really get anything with that rank. So, but before the results came, I was able to convince my parent that I want to go out for masters, and then I didn't even took the results seriously, and I had already started preparing for my masters. I started doing researching about the universities. I started researching about the course. I started researching about which country to go to, because previously I wanted to go for Ireland because they had 1 year of masters. But then when I was doing research, I realized that UK is also giving 2 years of post-study work visa. So I applied to some of the universities in UK, and I was able to get into quite a lot of good universities. So yeah, that's how I came to UK and I started doing my masters. And after finishing, I mean, when I was doing my masters, I also took an internship, and it was for National Innovation Center of Aging. So there I did my internship, and that internship project was my dissertation as well. After that, I joined uh, one of the medtech company. It was a startup, but after 3 months working there, it failed. I mean, they lost the project, and then they had to lay me off. Then I again came back to job market, and then I looked for another job, and then now I'm working at Stanley Black and Decker. And yeah, that was my whole journey. I think I was able to cover all the important bits. But yeah, I will make a dedicated video about my job hunting experience in the UK, because there I will talk about things in much more detail. But yeah, that was my journey. I think it was a long story. I hope I didn't bore you guys. I think I deserve a water break now. And by the way, if anyone of you here watches Formula One, it was a sprint shootout and Max again got pole, which is not surprising. But yeah, let's move on to the next question. How is Ireland job market after masters in IT for 2 years experience? So Ireland is a relatively smaller market as compared to the UK, and it is very small as compared to US. So, but then the good thing about there is there are a lot of data centers of all the big tech giant. I mean, they have their headquarters in EU headquarters in Ireland. So there are a lot of big companies there. So there will be a lot of opportunities. Currently, the job market is not really good anywhere. So, and Ireland is even smaller as compared to UK. So I would say less number of jobs there. But I think, I mean, I have not like looked into the job market, so I can't exactly comment what would be the competition, but maybe I could look into the job market in Ireland, and then maybe I'll be able to comment something. So one thing that I could suggest you is if you can just drop the same thing in the comments instead of this chat, because then it will be there. I think you won't be able to comment it now, but once this live stream is over, please drop this thing in the comments, and then I will go through the job market and I will reply to your comment. Or if you want, you can just come on live Q&A again next Saturday, or maybe if you wanna have it quickly, maybe tomorrow when I will be live on Twitch, you can sorry, you can get your answer there. Is data science a father of IT and computer science? I would say IT and computer science is a father of data science. So it's other way around. You qualified JEE mains or advanced, both, but the rank was really bad. So yeah. Can a person with 2 to 3 years of experience in data science save 2 lakh rupees per month in UK, living a moderate lifestyle and not too? So it depends how much you will get. So 2 to 3 years of experience, I would say the average salary could be around um, 40 to 45 thousand pounds. In that salary, I think it is really hard to be able to save 2 lakh Indian rupees per month. But if you are making over 60, 70,000 pounds, which is possible, but it's rare. So if you are able to make that much, I think it is possible to save 2 lakh per month. So yeah, where you got admission. So yeah, like I told you, I did my bachelor's of engineering BE, which is similar to BTech, from Vishweshwariya Technical University. You like drop for JEE mains, JEE mains advanced, both. Yeah. Hey bro, how much database should we know to get an internship in data science? I have all the basic covered from W3 school. Is that, I would say yes, it is enough. But again, this is not the only skill that you need. There will be other skills like Python programming and some other stuff that is needed. But yeah, what if you have covered from W3 schools in terms of databases, it should be fine. Show me your outside view and your home tour place, sir. I want to see Newcastle. Um, this room is quite messy right now, so I won't be able to show you this. But what I can show you is maybe outside. So yeah, if you wanna see outside, this is the outside. Yeah, lot of green, isn't it? Um, is it zoomed in now? Whatever. Yeah, so we have another channel which is traveling pods. So I thought we will be making some videos there, and I will probably make more videos there, but there are a lot of shorts available on that channel. So, and a lot of them I have recorded in Newcastle, so you may be able to see some of the important places. Let me quickly share that with you. So yeah, this is one of the shots. House tour on this channel. I have a house tour as well. So that house tour is of my previous home, I guess. Yeah. So that's there, but it will give you a general idea about how a house would be. So yeah, that's there. What is your current company and current CTC? CTC I won't be able to disclose because I was specifically told about that. Company is uh, Stanley Black and Decker, but I can give you a rough estimate. It's 40 plus. So yeah, that's what my salary is. I'm doing good, Ayush. How are you? But how you got in job in London? I don't have a job in London. I I have a job in Newcastle. I mean, not exactly Newcastle. It's in Spennymoor, which is very close to Durham. But I live in Newcastle, so yeah, I don't have a job in London. What is your opinion? You did graduation from UK. Instead of that, you had learned data science in India and had continued to do job in India. Would it be better scenario? Um, it's a good question actually. Maybe maybe not. I don't know. There are a few things. At least I think in terms of financial condition, maybe I would have been in a bit better situation. Is because I wouldn't have taken education loan, and whatever I would have earned, I would have put it in investment. So that's there. And I think if I had got salary of around 15 to 16 lakh Indian rupees per annum, I think it would have been equivalent to what I will be getting here minus the education loan. So that was good. But I would say in terms of personal development, I have developed quite a lot. When I was in India, I didn't know cooking at all. So the best thing that I could make was Maggie, just putting it in water and putting the masala in that. So that was the thing. But now I can cook quite a lot of things. I have become much more independent now. I have started to take my own decisions. So In terms of that, I think I have gained quite a lot of experience. So yeah, that's there. And then here I have met quite a lot of different people. I'm now able to understand how their mentality work, and then maybe uh, I've seen few things here which they are doing good, which can be improved in India, or there are few things which are good in India which can be done here. So maybe in future, if I want to have a business or something like that, I could probably do that, and hopefully it will be successful. But yeah, I would say for me it was worth it, but maybe little bit I would have been in a better state financially if I had done job in India, because I wouldn't have taken education loan. Right now, whatever saving I have, I'm putting it into paying back my education loan. Whereas if I hadn't taken education loan, I wouldn't have to pay back. So that's there. What do you think about code interpreter and its effect on data analyst job and data science job? So, yeah, code interpreter, it's good. You can just pass in data and it can do quite a lot of data analysis for you. But if you haven't tried it yourself, I would highly suggest trying it yourself, because when you see things on YouTube, people have to interact with it quite a lot. You can't just say a simple line, do this analysis, and it will do really good. So that is not the case. You will have to do quite a lot of back and forth communication, and it takes some time. So obviously, it will save some time in terms of writing code, but it can't replace a data analyst just yet. If you think about it, when when this software development it came, right? So a lot of people said that whatever things they are doing manually, now it will be gone. So for example, accountants or things like that, right? But instead of taking their jobs, now those accountants, they are using these software companies like Sage and things like, they have dedicated software for that, even for Excel sheets, right? So those companies, those accountants, now they have started using these tools to increase their productivity. So now they don't have to think too much about managing stuff, but then they can put their mind into doing the actual stuff, right? So just like that, data scientists and data analysts, I always suggest them to make use of it rather than treating it as your competitor. Try to use it to improve and increase your efficiency and productivity, instead of just being scared that it will take your job. So in near future, I don't see them taking your job. I even have a dedicated video on my channel, so do check it out. It will be able to a future of data science, I think that is the title of that video. So I think it is the most recent one. Do check out that video. There I have talked about future of data science in much more detail, and I have also included this AI aspect. So yeah, I don't think it will replace data scientist very soon, but if you start to use it in your daily day-to-day life, I think you will be in a better position. But if you start to compete against it, I think you will be in a very tight spot. Which is best bank for students? Do you mean in terms of taking loan? Do let me know in the chat. Are you living outside of city? No, I don't. If I take bus, it will take like 5 to 10 minutes to city center, and if I decide to walk, it will take like 30 minutes uh, to walk till city center. So I don't live that too far off. Got offer from QMUL, MSc Big Data Science, and Exeter, Cardiff, MSc Data Science and Analytics. Confused which university to join. If I had to pick one, I would probably go for MSc Big Data Science QMUL. Second will be Exeter. Third will be Cardiff. So that would be my preference. I applied my visa last week, just got done with biometrics 2 days back, and got all the documents uploaded from the VFS center. Um, by the way, Roshan, did you self-upload your documents on Visa portal, or did you get them uploaded from VFS Center? Like took the, so I took the documents to VFS and they did it for me because I was trying to do that. There was some issue. I can't remember exactly what was the issue, but I had some issues. So I had uploaded some of the documents, but then some documents had issues. So I took everything to them, and they scanned all the documents. But now that you have done your biometric, I would assume that you would have done this step as well. What I suggest is, if you are taking your documents, take the original ones, and also take a copy of all the documents on A4 sheet. So that is always helpful. Is JP Morgan a good company for data science and all other fields in AI ML, and where this company is located? I'm not sure where this company is located, but they do have office in the UK, and I'm pretty sure there will be an office in London, and JP Morgan is really a good company. So if you really want to work there, I think it would be a really good start for your career. Have you took education loan? If yes, then how much for pursuing masters in London? So again, I did not pursue my masters from London. I did it from Newcastle. They both are in England, so that's there. I did take education loan. I took education loan of 20 lakh Indian rupees. How do you think ROI is like in general in the UK salary range, like even for freshers? So for freshers, the salary range is around 30 to 35,000 pounds per annum. Um, I think you will be able to save around £1,000 depending on how you live. If you want to live very lavishly, then probably not. But if you are ready to make some compromises during your first few years, I think you will be able to save at least £1,000. So yeah. By the way, are you also interested in finance and investment? I do. I do a bit of research on my end, like where to invest and where to look forward to, and I also keep my ears open in terms of what's been happening in the world. So yeah, I am actually interested in that, and I do that whenever I get time. So I do that kind of research. How can we use AI tools to increase our productivity in data science or data analytics, and get help from these tools as a beginner in terms of this data analytics? So I have one video where I've talked about how you can use these large language models. So here's that video. But if you want to know a bit more, I mean, if I just have to summarize, so it's really hard to create a full-fledged application using ChatGPT or Bard or any other large language models, because they can create a part of application but they can't create full application. So you need to understand the whole infrastructure. You need to understand how a particular application works. So let's say you are creating an application in Flask. So you need to understand how Flask works, what is the control flow. And then if you want to create a section on your web page, so if you want to create a form which will contain a lot of different fields, so it's a name, email address, date of birth, things like that. So instead of writing all those things by yourself, creating that HTML form by yourself, just tell ChatGPT or any other large language model that I want to create a HTML form using these fields, and I want to have a method which will be post or get, whatever you like. So uh, yeah, so tell that it will write a code for that, and then you just need to copy paste, so it will be much more faster as compared to what you will do by yourself. Similarly, if you are building a dashboard, if you want to add different plots, you can ask ChatGPT to write a code for that specific plot. It will generate a code. You can put it in your code. Yes, you will have to explain it that you have so and so columns. This data is about XYZ. Um, which columns you want to use as x-axis, which columns you want to use as y-axis. So things like that you'll have to tell it, but then it will still be much more faster. But the thing is, you also need to understand, if you are using, let's say, matplotlib, plotly, pandas, whatever, you need to understand how they work, is because it will not generate code which will be perfectly fine. There might be cases where there will be some errors, so you need to be able to debug those. And you also need to understand that when to stop asking ChatGPT, because sometimes what happens is, you will ask it to generate code, it will generate code, you will use it in your application, you will get an error, you will copy paste the error, it will tell you a solution, you will try to implement it, you will get some other error, and then you will paste that error to ChatGPT, it will suggest some solution, you will get another error, right? So when you will tell that error, it will again go back to the first point. So you need to understand when to stop and when you are getting into that loop, so that you don't spend like hours figuring out a simple thing. So whenever you get an error, I would say do a Google search, but to create that initial bit of code, I think you can use ChatGPT. It does quite well. For daily use in the UK banks, okay. So I personally use Nationwide, and I've been using it for last almost 2 years now, and I never had any issues. So I think Nationwide is fine. Some people they use Lloyd, Barclay, HSBC. So these are some of the good banks. You won't go wrong choosing any of these. So that's there. Do you have any idea about how MSc Big Data Science in QMUL is, and is it better than MSc Analytics? Which itself. So when I was applying for universities, I did apply to MSc Big Data Science QMUL. It was one of my preferred university and preferred course. So yes, I do think it is a good course. And one of my friend, he is doing, I think he's almost about to finish his course from QMUL, and he seems to be happy about the course. So yeah, that's why I would prefer QMUL, MSc Big Data Science. Roshan, would you like to meet sometime in the UK? Yeah, sure, why not? How can I be your member? How can I join you? You are very helpful for telling data science info. Um, if you are watching, well, this is my own account, so I will try to log into my personal account, and then I can probably guide you. Yeah, so if you are watching this live stream on your phone, you will see a join button in white color beside the bell icon, and uh, in between the programming cradle and bell icon. So you will see a join button. So you just need to press the join button, and then there are a lot of different tiers. One is The first one is probably the cheapest one, which is support system PC family. It is for those who just want to support the channel. You will obviously have access to videos, which were early access to the videos, and some member only videos. The next tier is one-to-one meeting. So if you want to have one-to-one conversation, you join this tier, then you will be able to book one-to-one session. The next one is resume review. So if you want to build a resume, you can choose that one. Or if you are planning to do, I mean, if you are applying for jobs and if you have some interview lined up, so if you want to do any interview prep, you can choose the last year. So yeah, that is what you have. So if you can choose any of the tiers which you feel will be much more suitable for you. So yeah, that's how you can join. And I really appreciate your support, my tuber. So yeah, I still don't know your real name, but yeah, that's why I call you my tuber. Could you recommend some YouTube channel which are pretty good for pandas and Jupyter? I found studying from YouTube much better than Coursera and online lectures platform in general. I personally think the same. They are free and also they are quite good. Um, so yeah, that's the thing. I don't exactly remember which channel to follow, but if you just search for like pandas tutorial or Jupyter notebook tutorial, something like that, you should be able to find something. I don't exactly remember which, because I personally learned from, I mean, pandas, numpy, matplotlib, seaborn. I learned all these packages from their official documentation. So I don't exactly remember where to find these. But yeah, if you just simply Google or search on YouTube, you should be able to find. In how much time do you think your education loan will be fully paid? So I am expecting it uh, should be over in 18 months time. So that's what I am thinking of. Cool, man. Let's hang out for a beer this year sometimes. I don't drink, but yeah, you can go for beer. I will just take lemonade. Sorry. But they are saying to pay money, sir. My name is Vineet. I am from Maharashtra. Okay, good to know, Vineet. Yeah, the membership is paid because previously I used to do these one-to-one sessions um, free of cost, but then I started getting a lot of calls and then a lot of people who were not actually serious, so they just used to join the call and they just used to waste a lot of time. So just to avoid those things, I have kept these things uh, paid, but I think it's still quite cheap. I think it's like 150 Indian rupees, something like that. um, uh, it is just to keep people who are not exactly serious. I still sometimes get people who just join the call. Sometimes they don't even join the call, but even if they join, they are not well prepared. They just come there and they will start just talking about this or that. But still, I think still I get a lot of people who are really good. Like I have talked to Ayush quite a lot of times. I've talked to a lot of other people, and it's always nice to talk to people one to one, because if they have some issue which they can't really discuss about in live Q&A, they can always reach out to me in one to one call, and there we can discuss things. Where are you from? I am from Rajasthan, Kota, Rajasthan. So yeah. Well, now I have started saying Kota Rajasthan. Now the answer is quite simple, but before I moved to Kota Rajasthan, the answer was really hard because whenever someone used to ask me where are you from, so my dad was in army, so we used to get transferred from one place to another every 3 to 4 years. So I was born in Srinagar, Jammu and Kashmir. So for a majority of my life, I used to say that I'm from Srinagar, but then I realized that the place where you have a domicile, you need to say that state. So then I started saying that I'm from Uttar Pradesh because my dad is from Uttar Pradesh, my mom is from West Bengal. So I used to just say Uttar Pradesh or West Bengal. But then I realized that I don't have a domicile. But then after that, we moved to Kota and we have been living in Kota for last 12 to 15 years now. And now all my documents are from Rajasthan. So now I say that I'm from Rajasthan. In India, every other person is trying to switch career to data science in such hype also. In UK, do you think there will be surplus of data science professionals? Uh, I need to increase the brightness now. The sun is coming directly on my face. Yeah. Data science surplus professional as compared to number of jobs. It is certainly, and also the thing is there aren't quality data scientists because recently I interviewed quite a lot of people for the data analyst position, and it was really hard to find a capable candidate. Ultimately, we had to make a decision to go for someone. Um we could have, I mean, if I had found someone who was better, I would have gone for them, but it's really hard to find people because everyone is trying to switch, but they are not exactly putting good amount of effort to learn things. Sometimes they don't even answer the basic questions. But then as a business, you need to understand what they're exactly going to be doing, and if they are good related to that, I think it's fine to make a bit of compromise. But yes, it is really hard to find people. But then when you go to, I mean, it's really hard to find people with the good amount of skills and knowledge. But if you go on LinkedIn and if you just search for data analyst roles, and you will see the number of people who have applied for that role, it's well over 200. So you can clearly tell that there are a lot more people who are trying to become a data scientist as compared to the number of jobs are available. But there are number of jobs available, um, but they are still empty because they can just not find capable candidate. So that's what I can say from my personal experience. By the way, have you traveled in the UK lately or planning to travel? So I have traveled to few places, starting with Edinburgh. I mean, starting with York, Bristol, Edinburgh, London. Now we are planning to go to Barnstaple. It is very close to Exeter. Uh, in August end. So yeah, we will be going to Barnstaple. I prefer to go to places which are smaller cities, bit quieter. I personally did not like going to London at all. So, but if I have to go to Edinburgh again, I will be more than happy to go. But if I have to go to London again, I will not, unless I have something specific. Same here, Ayush. Oh, so you are from Kota, but you don't have that Kota coaching effect, I think. Yeah, probably not. Thanks for joining, Ahmed. If you book a one-to-one session, I'll be more than happy to uh, uh, meet you on call. Bro, I have some more questions. Want to join you in a call whenever you are free. So yeah, now that you have joined, you will be able to find the link, and using that link, you will be able to see which all slots are available, and then whichever slot is available, feel free to book a one-to-one session. I'll be more than happy to. Probably Monday, 5 p.m. UK time, or probably 9:30 IST, if it's a 4 hour, 4.5 hours gap. So you will be able to find some slot on Monday, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, so do schedule. Uh, if you can still see some slots on Sunday, I would suggest please do not book because I have few commitments. Uh, but if you can find a slot on Monday, feel free to book that. Sorry. Coming for September intake at University of Hertfordshire in MSc Data Science. Please guide me how to prepare for a job along with studies because my course is with advanced research. Cool. So yeah, do focus on getting your assignments done on time, and do focus on doing well in your assignments. That is one thing. The other thing is, if they are covering cloud computing, that's well and good. If not, I don't know if you can see chat, but if you can go a little bit up, you will find a link for AWS Educate. um, I will share that link again. On AWS Educate, you will be able to find some cloud practitioner course, or you may be also able to find data science course. So data science on AWS. So if you are able to find those, uh, try to complete those courses, because having cloud knowledge is very important these days for any particular job, any particular data science job. So yeah, let me drop that link. Yeah, this is the link. Courses are free, you don't have to pay anything, but learning these things and picking up these skills are going to be really helpful. Don't forget to visit Cornwall as well. Yeah, I think that is that is on the list. The only thing is, some of the remote places which are really beautiful, it's really hard to get a public transport there, and I don't really have my own car as of now. So that's why we try to go to places uh, which are accessible using public transport. But yeah, we will be going, and also Lake Districts is on my list. So there also I would like to go. Exeter is beautiful, I heard. I think all the smaller cities are beautiful. So yeah, that's it. Hey bro, you have been living in the UK for some time now. Do you think it's what you thought of when you moved to UK? Very good question. Mm, I mean, I don't know how people think about things. I mean, I would like to understand from your perspective as well. How I think, I will tell you that. So, uh, I do not keep any huge expectations. So, when I came to UK, it was just like moving from one state to another state within India for me. Of course, it was a huge step. But when I saw a lot of people, they were really excited. They were really saying that it is a big move. And when I talk to some of my colleague, and also people who are from UK, they say that it's a very big challenge that you took on, moving from your home country to a foreign country. And when I hear them, I also think like, yeah, it could be, but I never thought about it before. I was like, okay, I just have to move to a new country, and I have my set of goals and I need to do that. I never had any kind of expectations. But yeah, that's how I took things, and I like to live in present rather than thinking about future too much. Of course, I think about future, but it's way long term, like 5 years or 10-year plan, rather than what will happen next year or something like that. So that's how I think. So I never had any kind of expectation like how UK will be. One thing that I did expect it to be cold and wet, and it lived up to lived up to my expectations. It's raining all the time, which is bad, but it's cold, which is good. I like cold places, so that is there. But if I have to uh, think from some other perspective, things have gone downhill in recent years, more specifically after COVID and Brexit. So I was expecting it to be bit better, but it's not. It is just going downhill. But the good thing is the currency is getting stronger and stronger. It is mainly because of the interest rates that they are increasing. So when they will start to lower the interest rate, and when the inflation is low, they will hopefully lower the interest rates. Then maybe the currency will stabilize or become little low. So considering that, I think it's good because the currency is really strong, and when I send money back to India to pay back my loan, it is helping me out. So considering that, I think yes, whatever I expected, it is working. And yeah, in terms of experience and all, yeah, I think whatever I expected, it is same, because a lot of people, they say that there could be discrimination and things like that. So far, I have not seen majority of the people doing any kind of discrimination or things like that. One or two outliers will always be there, but so far my experience has been really good. I haven't seen any kind of discrimination, so that is really good. I'm happy with the experience that I have had so far. I was in a big conundrum choosing between Liverpool and Exeter, etc. Yeah, that is always there. But then at the end of the day, you have to make that hard decision. Even I had that um, confusion between Glasgow and Newcastle, because Scotland is quite beautiful. So if I live in Glasgow, I will be much more closer to other beautiful places within Scotland. But then I had to consider other factors as well, like financial and other things. So I moved on with Newcastle, and I do not regret my decision, even for like 1%. So I'm really happy with the decision that I made. So I'm pretty sure that you will be happy too, hopefully, when you will finish your masters from Liverpool. We are well over 1 hour now, so I will take few more questions, and then if you guys still have any other questions, I would like to invite you. I mean, uh, on Twitch, because I do these. I mean, I just go there and play some game, because previously what I used to do was I used to play those games alone. But then I thought, while I'm playing, it would be better to answer some of the questions which you guys might be having. So I will drop the link in the chat, and I think I have done something wrong. My chat is not working. Just give me a second. I need to refresh. Yeah, so this is the Twitch. If you guys are on Twitch, feel free to follow, and you can join, and you can always ask any question there. It's not like I'm playing games, so I won't be answering your questions. Is because I can't play game on this channel, because it is mainly related to data science and that programming sort of thing. So I don't want to mix up things. That's why I've created a separate platform. So yeah, do follow us there and do join us. We do every Friday and Sunday there. So there I will be able to answer a lot more questions, because there I usually be live for 2 hours. Yeah, so a lot of questions can be answered there. Yeah, my friend is a mechanical engineer. He is trying to switch to data science. He has zero experience of coding. Still, he thinks that he can switch to data science by studying in part time for 2 hours. From a YouTube course, what is your advice? He thinks that he can do it in 1 year time. It's all about being consistent. So if he is trying to put like 2 hours every day, then he will be spending just over 700 hours, which is totally fine, and it's a good amount of hours to put in to gain knowledge. And it is possible, because see, he is from mechanical engineer, he is from mechanical background, and he will be having some very good domain knowledge. So after doing his data science course, gaining some technical skills, if he applies to companies which are predominantly in mechanical engineering, so companies like tools and manufacturing, automotive industry, things like that, I think he will be preferred over other people who doesn't have any, yeah, other people who don't have any domain knowledge. So I think it is totally possible, because data science is not all about technical skills. It's also about having some domain expertise. So it is totally possible, but it's all about being consistent and uh, putting the time in. So yeah, I would say it is possible. But it's not just about learning. Do note that you have to create a portfolio. You have to do projects which are uh, which are very relevant to the domain that you want to get into. And it's not like if you are from mechanical background, you have to be looking for mechanical industry. You can go to other industry as well, but you have to make your mind that whether you want to go to financial industry or do you want to go to health sector. So if you have made your mind, do projects related to that, and then I think it should be fine. So yes, it is possible. Do let your friend that be consistent, and not to lose track. So yeah, that's all it takes. Yeah, I booked a session on Monday 9:30. Okay, Ahmed, we'll be looking forward to it. Yeah, that's very true. Having a car in the UK is pretty good if you like travel. Yeah, I agree. And I think sometimes it is must to have car. So yeah, I just cleared AWS CCP. What are your thoughts on it? It's good having any kind of AWS or any cloud certification, because these days all the companies are moving to cloud architecture, cloud infrastructure. So having that knowledge is always good, especially as a data scientist, and uh, obviously for software developers. But we are mainly talking about data science, so it's always good to have that skill. Is it cold even now? Temperature is just 19 degrees Celsius, so it's not cold, but I don't know. In my room, it always stays cold. Few days back, I was seeing temperature outside was around 25 degrees Celsius. In my room, it was freezing cold. My feet was super cold. Is your 40K plus salary is with sponsorship from your company or without sponsorship? I will be starting my masters in NL next month. What is NL? I'm not exactly sure. See you on Monday, Roshan. Really appreciate our talk because I am. Yeah, sure. I hope I'll be able to help you in some way. Hi, Arshan. How often do you travel to India, bro? Like once each year, do you ever plan to move back to India permanently and spend more time with family? When I think of moving, this thought is always there. So it's been almost, it's been more than a year that I haven't been to India, mainly because of lots and lots of ups and downs. But I do plan to go to India this December, hopefully. And yeah, there's always that thought. Uh, but I think at some point when you feel like you have had enough and you actually want to be with your family, then you can always go back and do things there. So it is always there. But I think you will have to sometimes sacrifice things in shorter run to gain in longer run. So I think we always have to make those hard choices, right? So yeah, that's there. Netherlands. Netherlands is a good place, and all the best, Ayush. Hopefully, you will have everything what you have expected. So all the best to you. Then how will you sponsor your visa? What will be sponsorship amount if you want to switch to skilled worker visa? So there are different ways. Sometimes you have, obviously you'll have to pay application fees and then health surcharge. Health surcharge right now is 600 something, just over 600. And the application fees is around, also around 500 to 600, something like that, or maybe 700. So it depends for how many years you're getting skilled worker visa. So if you are getting skilled worker visa for 5 years, based on my calculation, I think it should be somewhere around 4,500 ish. So yeah, that is how much you'll have to pay for 5 years. This includes application fees and health surcharge. And sometimes companies they do offer you financial support, or sometimes they even pay that for you. So it happens. But I don't really have any concrete information on this, like how will I do that, because I still need to initiate the conversation with my company. So I'll see. Whatever will happen, I will always keep you informed. Can you share your GitHub? Sure. Or maybe if you just Google Roshan Pandey GitHub, hopefully you should be able to find. But let me quickly grab a link. That would be much more easy, I guess. There you go. Uh, I have a dedicated video about this, like what all steps are involved in data science interviews. In general, it starts with Python programming, then some statistical questions, then machine learning questions, and then deployment, sometimes big data related questions as well. So yeah, those are the things they usually ask in data science interviews. Yeah, so this is the video. I'm just now posting the link in the chat. So this video will tell you what all stages are there and what type of interviews are there. I will be ending the live Q&A soon, so whatever questions we have in the chat right now, I will take these, and then if you really want, you can probably join tomorrow on Twitch, and I will answer more of your questions. What is Python programming? What's asked in the coding round? What is Python programming? Data structures. In programming, they can ask anything. They can ask you to write a Python program, or sometimes they also give you a whole project to do, data science project. Sometimes it is related to, it depends what level you are going, what level of the job is. If you are going for senior level role, they might not ask you to write Python programming. They will drill down on more mathematical and machine learning sort of things. Yeah, data structures and algorithm, even if you don't know those complex data structures like tree, graph, stack, queue, it should be fine. But you need to understand Python, Python data structures like list, set, dictionaries, tuple, things like that. So if you know those, how to use, when to use, I think you should be fine. I think being an employee, we cannot make that much impact in the world, and also that salary is just enough to manage expenses. Doing our own thing is like creating a company or something is the only way to make it in these days. This makes me question, is all the hustle working for others even worth it? There are different ways of thinking about it. So being an entrepreneur doesn't mean creating something from scratch. So I heard this from one of the persons. So I don't exactly remember the person's name and the company's name, but I think it is one of the very popular company which makes these syntax and water tankers in India, those plastic tanks. So there was this guy who had done MBA, and there was this company. They were in huge losses and they were not making enough money, and they were almost about to be bankrupt. And then that guy who had done MBA, he was like, just hire me and I will be more than happy to lift up the company. And then the owner was like, we don't really have enough money to pay you, so we can't. So he was like, don't worry about it, you don't have to pay me anything. And then he joined that company and he did some transformation in that company, and then company started making 100 plus hikes in their sales and revenue. So he didn't have to spend any money from his pocket, the guy who did MBA, and he didn't have to do any kind of capital investment and things like that. He used others money to help them grow. And then when the company started working, he became head of one of the regional offices, and then he started making so much money. So ultimately he's working for someone else, helping them to grow their business. But then you can say that he earned quite a lot of respect, and probably he is considered as something what he is doing, and it could be seen as his own thing, right? So in a company, let's say you join as a data scientist and there is some workflow which a company is finding really hard. You create a simple workflow for them, and maybe that will increase their efficiency by quite a lot. So that way you can be rewarded, you can be recognized, and then that is again something which you can say that it is my own thing. And another thing is, I mean, if this is not satisfactory, there is another thing is, if you don't have good amount of experience, if you but he was in a position to make the call, right? Like an employee, we just follow orders. So I think I am not making an impact. So let me give you my example. So I'm a simple data scientist in a company, right? So I'm just creating a hypothetical scenario here. So I'm doing some kind of data analysis. I'm seeing that a data feed is coming and then it is really bad. If I say that this data is bad, we need to do some really we need to take some really strong steps forward. Probably nobody's gonna hurt. But if I continuously put these things in front of people who are actually in charge of making those decisions, I think at some point it will change and that those reforms will come. And then if that happens, it's not like those people will say that we did that. You always get recognition. I mean, obviously it depends on what type of higher management is there. If you end up in a wrong place with bad management, then of course they will take all the credit. But if they are good people, then obviously you will do. And even if they take all the credit, there will be point where you will be recognized. And if you think like you are just a fresher and on a very first day you will start making impact and everybody will start taking you seriously, that is not going to happen. That is a really hard thing. So unless you are really brilliant, you have like mind which is just out of the world, you can create something from nothing, then obviously you will get some recognition. But if you are like me, an average person, then I think you'll have to be patient, you'll have to keep chipping in. And if you have some ideas, I'm not saying that don't work on it. You will have to invest some time apart from a full-time job in that, and then you have to work towards it. If that thing just takes off, then obviously you won't need that full-time job. You can always go to that and you can actually start making impact. So that's what I think. And to be able to see how actually world works, you need to gain some experience, you need to see things from corporate's perspective, is because it's just hard to just go come out of the college and know everything. I mean, at least for me it's not possible, but for other people, yes, it might be possible. So that's just my opinion. I think it's all about being patient and keep chipping in your 100%. So I think that's the key to be successful in longer run. What difficulty of hacker rank problem can we expect during the interview between? By the way, I just looked at the video. I would say medium. I mean, it depends from person to person. Sometimes on lead code, I see a hard problem. It feels very easy, but then if I see a easy problem, medium problem, it feels like a bit harder than the problem which I solved, which was tagged as hard. So it depends, but I would say medium would be where most of the questions will come. Yes, exactly. Like we can provide the insight, but the end call is someone else's. It's always their vision, also uh, irrespective or credited, like being in a position to make calls and take the things forward. Yeah, that's the thing. But the good thing for me, at least, I think I've been lucky that whatever decision I'm making, whatever steps I'm taking, I am quite in charge of that. But then again, I have invested quite a lot of time and effort in learning those things. I have gained some experience. So I think over time things work out. So you'll have to be patient, I would say. By Python programming, do you mean DSA like linked list? No, I don't. I mean knowing Python programming syntax and functionalities, and some of the Python packages like NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn, sklearn, things like that. Well, we have reached 1 hour 30 minutes, well over 1 hour time, which we usually do live Q&A. So yeah, if you have any questions, you are more than welcome to join next Saturday, 12 p.m. UK time or 4:30 p.m. IST time, or you can join us on Twitch tomorrow. I think 4:30 IST time or 12 p.m. UK time. So have a great weekend, everyone. See you probably tomorrow or next week. Bye.